Welcome back to Same Right Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this trendy backless collar summer dress you are seeing right here. This is the collar, as you can see right here, and this is the shirt collar. So you can see the backless gown right here. So I will advise you wear a top. It also looks very beautiful with a top inside. It will be looking like a pinafore and it looks more dignifying, as you can see. I'll be sharing with you the tips and tricks to sewing this halter neck dress. If this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn how this dress is made. Thank you. So right here, we are going to draft out the front piece. This is the center front. I'm going to mark 2.5 inches at the center front for the button spacing. Here is the shoulder line. From the shoulder line, place your tape and mark your chest line. Mine is 9 inches. Next is my shoulder to waist line. I'll mark 17 inches. Then next is your shoulder to hip line. I'll just go ahead and mark my shoulder to hip line. So to create a straight line, I'm going to mark it again, then rule my lines across. After labeling the lines, on the shoulder line, my neck width is 3 inches. Neck depth is 1 inch for the back. So we are going to draft both front and back neckline. Neck depth for the front is 3 inches. Go ahead to connect the 3 inches neck depth to the 3 inches neck width for the front. Then I'll extend the line to the button space as shown. Next is your shoulder divide by 2. You mark it on the shoulder line. Come down by 1 inch and connect your shoulder slant. On the chest line, you are going to mark your shoulder divide by 2 to get a straight line. You get the midpoint of that line, go in by 3/4 of an inch for your armhole curve. On the chest line again, you are going to mark your bust circumference divide by 4 to complete your armhole. You come over to the waistline, mark your waist divide by 4, then connect it to the bust area. On the hip line, you mark your hip circumference divide by 4 and connect it to the waistline as shown. Right now, we are going to take the measurement around that neckline at the back. Whatever you get, I got 3.5 inches. Please take note of this 3.5 inches. We are going to use it for the collar measurement. To connect the halter neck, you are going to place your tape on the tip of that neckline and connect to the armhole. But then, this halter neck is going to run all the way to the waistline. So you need to be very careful at this point so you don't expose your bust. So after connecting to the armhole, you still have your bust area. Then you come over to the waistline. I'm going to come out from the waistline by 1.5 inches. Just mark 1.5 inches at that point. Then at that point, you can just freehand it because I think the ruler will not be able to give us exactly what we want. So just freehand it into that line of the armhole this way. This is just for you not to expose your bust area. So I'm going to blend it the way you see me do right here. Next, we'll come over to the hip line. I'm going to add 3 more inches to the hip line, and that is just for ease and for seam allowance. After connecting, we are going to cut out on the line we just marked. So just cut it out all the way down. Next, I will go over to the neckline. Remember, we are not using the back neckline. You just cut it out this way, but still keep that figure 3.5 inches. We are going to make use of it later. It's time to cut out on our fabric. I used 3 yards of Ankara fabric. Here is 3 yards, and I'm going to fold it on the 45 inches length of Ankara this way. So you just fold it into two parts. Now the print part is going to be the button space part. You just go ahead and place the button or center front part on the print part this way. Then you secure with your pin accordingly. Make sure you also give space on the upper area for 1/2 inch seam allowance on the neckline. Place your tape on the shoulder this way, and we are going to take the full length of this gown. So the full length I'm using here is 58 inches, including my seam allowance. Just measure your desired length, but I use 58 inches. So I'll cut it out and set the remaining 3 yards for the back. After that, we are going to add 1/2 inch seam allowances on the neckline. We'll also add it all the way this way on the side. I'm going to take the 1/2 inch till I get to the hip line. But once I got to the hip line, you know it's an A-line gown, so I'll just go ahead and mark A line from that point, connecting it all the way to the line on the hip line as shown. Right now, I'll go ahead to cut out my fabric on the chalk line. So I'm going to cut out the neckline, as you can see. Next, I'll go ahead and cut on the chalk line on this side. I kept cutting till I get to the end of the fabric. Next, I'm going to bring back the remaining part of the 3 yards. You place it on fold. We are going to use it for the back piece. And we are going to place it right on the waistline. But meanwhile, we are going to mark out the elastic casing seam allowance. The elastic casing seam allowance is 1.5. I marked 1.5 inches for my elastic casing. After marking out the 1.5 inches elastic casing, I ruled a line across it from the beginning to the end. I brought back the front piece and aligned it on the elastic casing line on the waistline. Make sure you secure with your pin and make sure the line is exactly on that waistline as shown. Then I'm going to cut out the excess I have for the back piece after I have laid my fabric on top of it. So just go ahead and trim out the excess so the front and the back piece will be equal. So for the back piece, it's just a squared fabric. Next, I'll go ahead to create the elastic casing right now. After stitching the elastic casing, this is what I got. I'm going to insert my elastic. My elastic length is just my waist circumference divided by 4. Then I added 3 inches to it. So I'm inserting it, as you can see right here. I'll just go ahead and top stitch on that other end and continue inserting the elastic. I'm done inserting the elastic for the back, so I'll set the back piece aside. Then we'll go over to the front piece to stitch. Right here, you are going to create a notch at that waistline before taking off your pattern. Create a notch so you know where to sew the back piece to. Next, I'll go over to fold 1/2 inch. Then you also fold 1 inch, that is for button spacing. I'm going to top stitch on top of it. But meanwhile, try and secure with your pins so you know exactly the spacing is at 1 inch. This is how I'm going to top stitch right on the machine. So I'm top stitching the tip of it like this till I get to the end, and I'm sewing across my pin line as shown. Here you can see the button spacing all the way down, so that front piece is ready. At that notch on the waistline, we'll bring in the back piece, lay it right side to right side. You are going to stitch 1 inch all the way down. After stitching, this is what you are going to have. Next, you go over to fold in the sides this way. The sides are very much ready, as you can see. So it's time for us to cut out the collar. The collar, just go ahead and take the measurement of one part of your neckline this way. So mine gave me 5.5 inches on one side. So the 5.5 inches I'll multiply by 2 for the other side, and it gave me 11 inches. So remember the 3.5 inches we measured for the back neckline. You also multiply it by 2, it gave me 7 inches. So everything I have is 18 inches neckline. To draft out the collar, so just go ahead and rule a starting line. I'm going to measure half of that 18 inches, which is 9 inches from the center back. Draw a straight line at the 9 inches. Then you are going to mark 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. That is the width of the collar stand. From this point, just come in by 1.25 inches. Then you go up by 2.5 inches. Then we are going to connect a line that way. That would be for the collar. Then you go up by 2.5 inches at the center back area. Connect with a straight line. Then we are going to blend that collar stand the way it usually is on the front piece. Going to come down by 0.5 at the edge of the collar and place your ruler this way and connect. This is me trying to blend up the upper part of the collar this way. It's time to cut out, so I'll just go ahead and cut this way. I'll go in this way like that. So the collar, we are cutting it together. Go ahead and cut this collar on the fabric, but mark the wrong sides as shown. So I place my fabric on fold. Also place it on another fold before you place your collar, as you can see me do right here. Next, you secure with your pins accordingly. We'll go ahead to add half an inch all around. You can see how I'm adding the half an inch. So make sure it's just exactly half an inch. So I'll just go into the curvy part and come out to the straight part as shown. So this is what I have right now. If I open up my collar right now, I'll be having two pieces of it, the lining and the main fabric, though I use the same Ankara fabric for them. So this is it. When I open up, I'll go ahead and lay my stay on the wrong side. I'm using a paper stay for it. This is me laying my paper stay on top of it. I'll go ahead and iron it out nicely. After sticking your paper stay to the collar, just go ahead and cut or trim it out as shown. When the collar is very much ready, I'll also stay the other collar as well and trim it out. Here is my collar. I'm going to lay it right side to right side, but then you have to carefully secure with your pin at the junction between the collar stand and the collar itself first. Then you can now go ahead and pin all around, but leaving the down parts of the collar open. This is what I mean right here. I'll just stitch at half an inch the way you see me mark out here. After marking out, I will lift up half an inch on one part of the collar. We'll just go ahead and iron it out, okay? So this is to make the sewing of this collar very easy. Ironing it out, we'll still bring it down while sewing. You still run it down. Let me show you how to stitch it on the machine. Here you can see it here. You still bring that part down, then you sew on the line you marked. Make sure you follow the curves appropriately. Raise your presser foot and stitch all the way down. Then you also continue from the beginning. That is how to sew a collar. So I'm stitching right on top of my pins, as you can see. Till you get to the end of the collar, you stitch it out. Then you also start this way, raise your presser foot, and we are going to go all the way down. After stitching, you are going to make a notch at this junction. Don't forget to make notches at the curvy part so the collar will be easy for turning. Then I'm going to fold in this way. This is the technique I usually use to fold or turn my collar. After that, you can now go ahead and push it inwards as shown. At this point, you can use your screwdriver to bring out the remaining piece of it. Next, we are going to give this collar a good press. To make sure you bring out all the shapes of the collar this way. It's time for us to attach the collar. To attach the collar right now, you are going to place the collar right side to right side of the dress, as you can see, from the edge like this. You just secure with your pins. I'm going to pin it all the way until I get to the end of one side. Then I'll pick up the other side, right side to right side from the center front as well. Secure with my pin and stitch. After stitching, this is what you are expected to have. Now you are going to fold in 1/2 inch on the part that you stitched right now. But meanwhile, if you have something like this, which is normal, the pointy halter neck part, just cut it out. Then you are going to fold in this way, and we'll go over to the machine to top stitch our collar the normal way we do top stitch to the end. After top stitching, just go ahead and give the collar a good press. I'll just iron it very nicely. Then I'm going to fold it at that point this way, which is between the collar stand and the collar itself. You just make a crease line to it so it looks like the normal collar you know as well. At this point, you can now go ahead and make your buttonholes. But then this halter neck dress, especially the one that has the elastic at the waistline, can gape, as you can see. You can see how it is gaping. So in case after sewing you have a gaping like this, I'm just pinning it for you to see the gape. Okay, you can see the gape. So that means we are going to put a little dart at the side so the dress fits very well on the bust area. Of course, the gaping is normal because of the bust area. So this is how we are going to eliminate the gaping, by darting that part. You can see that the measurement I have on that dart I held was 1 inch. So but then if you are working for someone that is not around, just go ahead and measure from the shoulder of that halter neck. Measure the bust point. My bust point is 10.5. So I'll just make a mark at that 10.5. Then from that point you measure 1 inch, measure another 1 inch. Then from the center front, we are going to create a dart, but to know the point at which you will stop the dart, measure from that button space. You are going to measure your bust span divide by 2 plus 1 inch to know where your dart will stop. After darting, this is what we have. We have put a dart at that point, and you can see the bust area is pushing up, so it relaxes nice and flat. So that is how we'll come to the end of this tutorial. Bye for now.